Andrew Haug here on andrewhaug.com, Australia's only dedicated 24/7 rock metal radio station. We've spoken to this man for many, many years and, of course, embraced his presence in our country because he's been here several times. We're talking about Dez from DevilDriver, ready to unleash their 6th studio record titled Winter Kills. Quite appropriate around this time of the year for us Australians in most areas anyway. But let's get chatting with Dez about the new record and everything else that's happening in his world. G'day, Dez. Welcome to andrewhaug.com.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
No worries. So let's quickly rip right into the brand new record being album number 6. Now, it also features a new bass player, Chris Towning. How has the camp been for DevilDriver and, again, moving into this new record? Was it a difficult record to put together?
No, not a difficult record. This record was what you would call lightning in a bottle. Everything just happened and really came to us. The writing process, we were writing together like just on fire. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the tracks, a lot of the takes on the record vocally are all first takes. So there was a lot of lightning in the bottle when it came to this record. And I think we really found who we were and really honed in on the signature groove that is DevilDriver.
Well, when you said signature, it's certainly very evident on this album. Now, when you mentioned sort of lightning in a bottle, is that also because of the experience the band has had over the years that, you've connected so strongly as a unit that it really doesn't need to be pushed so hard like some bands try to on their sort of up-and-coming albums? It just sounds like you're already in your groove, you're in the pocket, and it's just business as usual.
I mean, for us, I think we honed in on what we do. If you listen to all the DevilDriver records, the whole catalog, you'll find that every single record is different. It has our signature all over it, but every record is different. And I think we wanted that to be the same with Winter Kills. But here's the thing about Winter Kills. If you want to start with Winter Kills, if you've never heard of DevilDriver before, and you start with this record and work yourself backwards in the catalog, you'll understand who we are, where we came from, and probably where we're going. We keep developing, we keep moving forward. I'd like to make each record different, each record better. I mean, we did capture a lot of killer moments on this record. Everything from the vocally, like I said, it's all first takes, to the musicians having their own just, moments where, wow, it just comes together. That only happens probably twice in 6 records, which is, for me, is what happened in DevilDriver. And I'm real pleased, man. I'm real excited to get this out. Everything from working with Dean Carr on the artwork to working with Mark Lewis on the production to covering Sale from AWOL Nation was a good time for me. And I think that's what music's all about.
Let's sort of delve into the business aspect. It's something I generally ask a lot of bands just about where they think it's at and how it can hopefully be sort of improved. Now, again, passion and music aside, dealing with the way it is, being a long-standing musician in the sort of heavy metal community globally, what's your take on where it's heading? And is it, because I'm seeing a lot of bands starting to basically give up because they know it's just very difficult to continue making a career out of it. What's your standpoint on the whole sort of structure?
I mean, it's a difficult process if you're just starting now. You don't have record companies out there that are giving you huge amounts of tour support, that are trying to throw money at radio to play your songs. You actually have to be good, and you actually have to tour. And the only way to really break a band is to get out there and tour. And even when I left Coal Chamber, I went from having my own bus to getting right back in a van, right back into an RV for years and restarting. You have to live on the road. You got to play every single night, 280, 300 days a year, period, and you got to break yourself. You got to spread the word through, whatever it is, whatever media, social media, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is. And if you're good, it's like cream, you'll rise to the top. And I've been fortunate that I started out early on when record companies kind of put some stuff behind you. But DevilDriver has really had to back themselves. I mean, it's one of the reasons we made the move from Roadrunner Records in the United States and signed with Napalm, because we wanted to see passion in the label, but I stayed with Roadrunner overseas in Australia because I saw the passion. So you have to have good business partners. I'm Italian. If anyone's ever seen The Godfather, then you'll probably know how I do business, except I don't have a gun and I can't bury you in my backyard. But the bottom line is I keep my managers are very important. Agents are very important. All the little things besides just the guys in the band writing the music are all very important. Your relationships with other bands, very important. When tours come together, do people want to tour with you or not? Are you the rock and roll cliche that's going to go away in a year because you got so many drugs and alcohol going on in your band that people can see that you're going to be gone in a year. They may not take the chance on you. So really watch everything. You know, on your business standpoint, have one guy running the show. That's it. Don't try to have 5 dudes in making 5 different decisions. It'll never work, ever. You know, you got to have one captain in the ship, and that's what I am for DevilDriver, and that's what I was for Cold Chamber, and am for Cold Chamber. And I think that's how I run business. So there's my philosophy. Also, deal with things fair and square. I practice a lot of Freemason ideals. I follow a Masonic ideal when it comes to business. I think a handshake is a handshake and an oath is an oath, and your word is your word. And when I bind my word, people know it. So I think you have to have that as well.
Now, you mentioned, of course, being a lot of bands out there playing, but some of them don't always stick. Now, I think a lot of the newer up-and-coming bands sort of feel... I remember I mentioned this to Tom Araya when we caught up at Soundwave, that as much as the internet is a huge help for some bands, it's also a bit of an illusion, because some bands think, well, once I put a song out there, it's going to work for me, and that's it. It's almost like, okay, some would say the internet has kind of replaced labels in certain ways, or at least A&R, because people can discover bands themselves without having someone sort of throw it in their face. But, you know, when you mention about not all the bands are going to stick, what advice do you have for, you know, up-and-coming bands who are kind of, I guess, misled into the sort of world of the internet where they think that that's what's going to make or break them?
Well, I mean, it really can make or break you. I mean, you can become big just on the internet and touring. You absolutely can. It's been shown and proven over and over. Also, you know, if you get a record deal, then you can have someone behind you to lead your career, but they're going to want something for it. You got to look at a record deal like a bank. They want a certain percentage of whatever you get. Now, a lot of people are doing 360 deals, which means they're going to sign your publishing, your merchandise, and everything, and they may give you a little money up front to start your career. If I was you, I would just take a loan out or sell some T-shirts and try to make your own record and then get out and tour. The main thing you want to do is you want to hook up with an agent. An agent will get you tours, and that's what I tell every young man. Find an agent that hears your music, that likes it, and then we'll start putting you on tours, and you'll start going places. You know. Also, you got to remember in this game, you got to stay humble. Don't ever get egotistical, and don't ever let the rock star attitude that you might have grown up seeing, those personas, and that's why you want to do this. Don't ever let that take you over. Always remain who you are, and people will see through that, and they'll want to help you out. And in my case, that's been it all along. You know, I'm known as a good guy to do business with. I'm a man of my word, and if you're that guy, they're going to help you out. And so that's my advice to young bands. You know, get out there, tour, find an agent, be men of your word. When you're supposed to show up at a gig, show up at a gig. You know, if you give somebody a handshake and say you're going to do a tour for free, whatever, do it. Don't bitch. Get out and rock.
Now let's talk a bit about Cold Chamber. Of course, you're in Australia for Soundwave for some of those sort of reunion shows. Now, is that pretty much done? That was sort of a one-off thing for Cold Chamber?
I mean, for me it is. I can just reckon it like an analogy. You know, I mean, it started my career. It gave me my first gold record. It made me really who I was. And to revisit it was something like, you know, having an old relationship that you were in love with go south all of a sudden, and you were sitting in the house all alone going, I don't know why she left. And 11 years later, she came back. She wanted to go to dinner. So that's what we did. We went to dinner. But in essence, we went to Australia, we went to South America, we went to the United States, we went to the UK, we went over to Europe and did festivals. And yeah, I think it's time to put it to bed right now. You know, we had a great visit, a great dinner, a nice kiss at the end, and you know, it was great to revisit it, and it was a good time. But much like an old pair of shoes, you only want to put it on once in a while. And DevilDriver, for me, is a little more akin to who I am now as a person, you know?
Well, let's talk a bit about DevilDriver's return to Australia. You've been to Australia several times. Now I'm hoping, and I guess somewhat assuming, that you'll be coming back.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, we just don't know when. We're going to try to schedule some things at the first of the year next year. We definitely have to get down to headline next year. So, I mean, you could probably see us in Australia at least twice next year if I have my way about it.
Awesome. Well, we can get you to choose your favourite track from the record Winter Kills, and keep us posted on the Australian tour, and a couple of last words to the Australian fans too.
Great, man. You know what? I'm really loving Ruthless right now, and if you want to play something else, there's a song called Desperate Times as well. That's just a great track, and you'll hear the lyrics, and hopefully it'll connect with people.
And a couple of words to the Australian fans.
To the Australian fans, I can't wait to come down. You guys are one of the best audiences ever, period. You know, and I don't say it to every interview. I mean, it's obvious. You guys love your metal, and I love the country. I love everything about it. I have a great time when I come down there. I've got a lot of great friends. Anytime DevilDriver's come down and done Soundwave, it's been absolutely one of the best times of my life. I mean, everybody knows I brought my wife and my kids down. Actually, AJ did, the promoter for Soundwave, helped me bring my family down, and everyone in my family said the same thing. Man, this reminds me of California. Let's go surfing.
Awesome. Well, all the best, Des.
Thank you very much for your time, man. I appreciate it.
No worries. Let's check out some DevilDriver now on andrewhaug.com.